How's it going, NPC Nation? Welcome back to a brand new video, and it is Unknown History, Episode 4. Today we're going to be talking about Zachary Taylor. Finally, a video about Zachary Taylor. You know, not James K. Polk or, John Tyler, but actually Zachary Taylor, the 12th president. So Zachary Taylor was only president for 1 year because he died in 1850. He got ill around July 4th of 1850, but before that, here's some of his accomplishments. People don't know he was the 12th president of the United States, but he also was a general in the Mexican-American War and War of 1812. This guy served for so long. He served in the War of 1812, and then he also served in the Mexican-American War, which were far apart from each other, to be honest. In history, they were close enough, but they weren't that close. So, what did he accomplish in a year? Well, Zachary Taylor was, from being a general and stuff like that, he tried to keep the United States from, going to civil war. I actually found this out on the White House's website. I'm going to put the link in the description if you want to learn more about Zachary Taylor. He actually had a meeting with Southern leaders who wanted to succeed. This dude literally brought up slavery in a meeting and talked about it like way before the Civil War even happened. It didn't really accomplish much. It accomplished some things, stopped the Civil War from happening for another 10 years, but he basically had a meeting, and not a lot of presidents did this. And then after that, 13 through 15, we really didn't have anybody try to stop, not just slavery, but succession and, other states' rights and stuff like that. But he is probably the first account I can think of to actually have a meeting with South about succession. Succession was a talk way before Lincoln. Like, it was being a talk, I think, once the Mexican-American War ended, I think during Polk's presidency. But I think it was more towards, when Zachary Taylor took office, more towards when Pierce, Franklin Pierce and Millard Fillmore took office. We'll talk about Millard Fillmore and Franklin Pierce in another episode. But Zachary Taylor did do some stuff during the 1 year of his presidency. He did die in office, but he was one of the first presidents from keeping us from succession. He actually talked about it. He actually had meetings for the South, and he was a general during two great wars. It wasn't the Great War, not the first one, but it was like the War of 1812, which nobody won technically, and then the Mexican-American War, where we got all those southern states and a bunch of land for Mexico. And he was something else. They eventually, years later, his descendants actually exhumed his body to see what he actually died of more accurately, because it's 1850. Doctors still poked and prodded without gloves and bodies and stuff like that. But Zachary Taylor was a unique president. He didn't start it, but he continued the trend of generals as president. A lot of these generals, or a lot of these war heroes after him, really became the president of being president. You have Ulysses S. Grant, Rutherford B. Hayes, a lot of Civil War veterans. You had Benjamin Harrison after him. A lot of these generals you know, Washington started it. You know, he was general. That's how he got it. He actually fought on the battlefield. But then we got Jackson, Andrew Jackson, who was a general and stuff like that. But Zachary Taylor was always unique to me because he only lived a year. He did smoke a lot, but he got ill after a year being president. A lot of people can say Mr. Beat describes this more. A lot of people can say it's from the water, the contaminated water of Washington, D.C. It could have been. But I always liked Zachary Taylor. He did stop us from, going to a civil war sooner. We would have went to a civil war sooner, but he actually had a meeting with the South and Southern leaders about secession. And Millard Fillmore, even though Zachary Taylor was only president for a year, Millard Fillmore became a worse president than he did. The guy was only president for a year. So, Millard Fillmore was president longer. So how does that work? I don't know. We'll talk about him in the next episode. But if you want to learn more about Zachary Taylor, there is going to be a link down in the description to his, brief White House page. There's not a lot on these guys. That's why they're unknown in U.S. history. I'm not just going to do U.S. history, Marco Polo is an example of that. But that's why he's unknown in history. Because he wasn't president for very long. Not everyone knew what he did. But he's not the example of William Henry Harrison gets sick, basically. But Zachary Taylor was one of the unique ones because he was a general, and he basically restarted the trend of generals. Because a lot of generals would follow him after he became president. Because you have a ton of generals after him, like I said. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, press share button, press like button, press right, subscribe button, press bell, so notified every time I upload a video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.